All right, let's go ahead and get started. Well, thanks everybody for coming out to CAAS tonight for our monthly meeting. We've got an exciting group of presenters. Carl's going to talk about a project using a laser cutter, and Darcy uh, uh, cutting out holders. We've got Bruce who's going to give us summary report from the Dark Sky Festival and talk about our 2026 calendar. And then Rocky is going to give us our constellation of the month. So thank you, everybody. And I guess we'll turn it over to Carl.
We're talking about the astroscan. The picture on the left shows what I'm talking about, the little red telescope. It's a fun scope. Well, when I bought that, did not have any eyepieces. And so when the eyepiece became available for on Goodwill, you see this is the ad on the right-hand side that they case with all the eyepieces in it. Those are these RKE that are really designed for that short focal length wide field telescope. So I purchased that, but the foam rubber on the inside is pretty rough. Like this one, when they showed the eyepiece, you see these black dots. That means there was just pieces of the foam rubber inside there. And so, this is what it looks like. It's pretty beat up, pretty rot, a lot coming apart. So Darcy started working with me about making an insert to replace the one that's in the case, this part right here. And so this was a preliminary cut. Is that what you call it? It came out too big. So the other thing is the foam rubber. I could find it online, 12 inches by 8 inches for about $8, but they wanted $13 to ship it to me. I thought, now that don't sound right. So anyway, I found out at Hobby Lobby that they make felting foam that's over in the sewing department. That's what I need, but it's only 8 inches long. So me and Ilmer's rubber cement, put two blocks together and then send it to Darcy for her magic. So let me back up to the camera. So for the camera, I guess, to get in the view, then this is where we ended up then with the top I left alone as is, the top of the case, but all the bottom part, the foam rubbers, is brand new. Then for that, she also has pull-out pieces here for to be able to grab the eyepieces. We've been beta testing, I guess we call it. When it gets down in there too deep, you're trying to reach it out and so forth. So that's an improvement for maybe what you call a reconditioning. That's all that my part was for tonight. So thank you. Questions? Darcy's laser, you said, was a blue diode. That's one of the questions that we had earlier. Yeah, Jane is wanted to have an astroscan for each of her, was it children? And so I found another one on Goodwill. I had to buy a 3D print the dust cover, so I bought that before, and then on a Finder they do 3D print those too, so you can put those, and then I've put them in cases and all that. Andrew Hardasky told us about a satchel, I guess I'm gonna call it, at Harbor Freight that just fits the Astroscan. And then the other thing I found out was that for a tripod, Andrew told us about that, the audio audio star telescopes, their tripod exactly matches the three-legged stand that the Astroscan stands on. So this is an audio star tripod right here. And those exactly fit into a baseball bat bag. So, I buy one that's online, Nike red and black, so it matches all the rest of the kind of the decor. That's it laying right there. Come to think about it, it's in that picture right there. So that's another easy thing to carry carry your tripod and not have it on a picnic table or something where people are bumping it, or on a card table or something like that because they shake. So it's been fun. Okay, any questions from people online on Zoom? Can anybody hear that? Do you hear it? Yeah, Darcy accommodated her. She take out the the front lens, not a lens, it's a front, just a glass, but it holds the secondary. And there's a guy online that has 3 videos about astroscans, and so to get that collimated, she has to put little tabs of tape under that where the glass is going to sit, and then put an O-ring back in that holds the glass in place. Any other questions or discussion? The question that maybe y'all didn't hear over Zoom was about the laser cutter. She has it mounted on her screen-in porch. She bought an extension, you said, for cut a larger area than what the original standard one was. All right. Thank you.
Righty. Thank you, Carl. Next, we're going to have Bruce.
No sense in us there. We're just looking at that screen together. So I got indicated I got 2 little things to talk about. One is the festival that we just completed, and we had over 20 telescopes lined up, and we had over 500 people registered to attend the event. And the weather didn't cooperate. So we had to boot to the rain date. Now, last year we had to do this for the first time. And so we decided from now on, we're going to have a rain date. So everybody knows it's going to be the very next weekend and everybody can plan. But apparently that didn't work so well because we lost over half our attendees with the change in the date. And I got to tell you, it's sort of like you have to change the date on something like this. And it's a little bit like the opening billiard shot in a pool game. I mean, you got everything organized and it just scatters. So another 2 more changes we made this year. Well, I did want to say that we lost a couple of our telescopes, but we picked up 1 or 2. So we were still right around 20 telescopes. One of the things that I realized as people would file in at night was we weren't doing a good enough job selling this, marketing it, the rest of the event. It's actually a 2-day educational event with nature hikes and presentations and so forth. And I'm afraid we've left the impression that it's a star party. And so our attendance goes up at night and it was pretty thin in the day. And so we're going to try to fix that this next year, make sure people realize that there's a lot more there than the star party. But when we moved it a weekend, we had 3 great nights. They had fog moved in a little early on the Thursday night, which was just for the volunteers. We didn't have the public there. And each night the fog came a little later. And the other sort of downside was we had a bit of a crescent moon. I think about a 3-day moon on Friday and a 4-day moon on Saturday, which sort of impacted the southern Milky Way a little bit. But otherwise, it was a great event. And this was our T-shirt. And another new thing we did this year is we offered free T-shirts to our volunteers. And this shows this unique bluff structure there. This is on Bear Creek, just outside the Buffalo National River, on 1,200 acres. And this is a unique geological feature in Arkansas. This buttressed bluff, and so this shows that a bluff, obviously, with a star trail over it. So a lot of cast members have picked up on these. Got a little video that summarizes the event that John Reed put together for us from still shots. So John Reed made this from still photos that various people took, including himself. And you can see it's had 283 views as of 8 days ago. And it has sound if that's available. You can see some of the telescopes there setting up. This is 1,200-acre property. They've got 7 or 8 cabins on it that they rent out. And we hold our event at the pavilion, which is down by the creek. That's the UALR's meteor collection. That's Kent March from Northwest Arkansas, Explorer Scientific. And that was the ranger from Devil's Den talking about the bats. And this young lady's from the U of A, PhD student, and she's pushing fireflies. Oh, and this is our Stello's Outdoor Lighting Academy tent, where you can go and learn about light pollution and responsible lighting. And that's Gabby who helped us put that together. He's an architectural, teaches architecture at the U of A, Fayetteville. There are those bluffs I was telling you about. Alan Wagner comes every year and takes these photographs at night. John Reed says he's better at it than he is, and that's saying something. So see you next year. That'll be our 5th year. All right. So changing the subject to our document, next year's calendar. By the way, while he's bringing that up, our Stella's Outdoor Lighting Academy tent, you just got a glimpse of it, but the whole thing is covered in photographs of that taken at the festival, or a friend of mine who makes nature shots in the bottomlands at night. He gets these incredible photographs of insects and frogs and all kinds of lizards and stuff that he gets in the bottomland of the Washita River at night. He gets up at night and photographs. You can see a large insect with at least parasitic flies on it and stuff like that. Just all kinds of. We put a bunch of those on the tent, and Chris Lashley's photograph that you've all seen, the black and white picture of the little boy looking through the telescope, and so forth and so on. And then inside we have all these stations with all this educational material. Now, what we're going to do is have a quiz. We actually had a quiz there, but it was a paper quiz, and we only made 25 copies. I didn't want to print out a bunch of ink. and stuff. We tested the quiz. So, but now we'll put the quiz online so that the visitors to the tent can download or access the test online and go through. And it's about your outdoor lighting IQ, to find out your outdoor lighting IQ, and then you can go through the tent. And the idea is you'll fail it the first time, and then you go through the tent, and then you retake it, and then you pass, and you get a graduation certificate and so forth and so on, and then a link to go to our website to learn more and get involved. So we're really tickled that we've already got it scheduled. This was the first use of it. We've got it scheduled at Crystal Bridges on November 7th. So we're just going to take this around. We're going to try to get it to the Municipal League event in January and the Environmental Caucus in February. So this is going to be a great educational tool. So next year's calendar, this is a proposed calendar. I guess we'll take it up at the next board meeting and review it. But this next year, we move into our club meetings are on moonless nights. And so for the first time in over a year. So that's going to give us an opportunity to do some new things. Also, everybody knows we've lost Pinnacle as a Star Party location. And we're trying to push ANSA and CAAS, trying to push the Park Service into having Lake Sylvia designated an urban sky park. It's not dark enough to be a dark sky park, but it'd be a great urban sky park. So I'm hoping we'll schedule at least 2 events there. And then let's see here. We need to have one at least at the soccer field just because it's so close and convenient. Hopefully we can get a big crowd. But the downside of the soccer field, as you know, is it has no facility for a presentation. And then probably one at Woolly Holla, as we've always done. But that maybe we'll see about that. Maybe we can come up with a better approach. But we do need to have one in that direction, and I don't know where else it would be. By that direction, I mean north, up in the Conway area, I think. So the first club meeting will be the 11th of January. And what I propose here is that we have a scope clinic and that we do that every January. It seems like to me the logical thing to do, maybe, and particularly since you invite the public into our club meetings. People have stuff for Christmas still, I guess. And at any rate, so this would be a program where you could come and bring your telescope, and the club members would help people or one another set up, align, collimate, and learn to use a telescope. And otherwise, the program, we need to figure out what kind of program we would have. February 14th would be the next club meeting. You will have a dark Milky Way if it's clear. And so this offers an opportunity of something we used to do many years ago when we had dark sky events up here. And that is we spend the night, some of us, and build a fire out here and have social hour when you get tired of looking through the telescope. And unofficially, maybe there's some wine that gets drunk or beer or something like that. Say again? Oh, is it? Okay. Well, unless we want to move that, I hadn't thought about that. Unless we want to move that, we may have to move that event. We may have to move that event. Yeah. I don't know. That board will have to take that up. We hate moving events because it's the second Saturday of the month. And if you change it, you run the risk of somebody. But I think on Valentine's Day, they would probably remember that's not right. Okay, thanks, Carl. One reason we need to go over this. And then and we've done this some in the past too. If you have an overnight to encourage people, we cook blueberry pancakes next morning. But now we got that grill out there. All right, so slipping down, we move into, move that into March. No, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I got to go back. Public Star Party, Lake Sylvia, 2021, best clear night. That means and we did this once, and it worked out all right. That means the target night is really Saturday. But as you get close to it, if it looks like Saturday's going to be bad and Friday looks good, you move it to Friday. I don't think we want to have a rain date moving it to the next weekend, in part because we're going to have the next weekend. We might otherwise do that, but the next weekend is getting into the window for the Messier Marathon. And so I figured we would have that on our calendar. And take place on this. Okay. No, what I had was the Messier Marathon on the 14th. We're going to have to move. We're just all going to move this to the 21st. I can tell you that's what's going to happen. Club meeting and the marathon and everything's going to go to the 21st. I bet you. All right. So then in April, club meeting, we need speakers for that. Another overnight event and social fire, if it's clear opportunity, it's still cool enough. National Astronomy Days on the 25th. We did that here last year. We used to do it at Pinnacle, but I assume we'll do it here again, where we're comfortable and we have facilities and we can give presentations and so forth. You can't do that at the soccer field, and every place else I can think of is too far away, except maybe if we hooked up with some library or something is the only thing I can think of. But scoop it on down. As usual, that's a first quarter moon. You went a little bit too far. First quarter moon, National Astronomy first quarter. And we got the Lyriad meteor showers, but unfortunately the moon is 71%, probably going to wash that out. So really what you've got is the moon and Jupiter is about what you're going to have for that night. All right, May, still spring sky lends itself to the RO as a locale for the public star party, particularly if we have Bill's scope. Now, what that's about is, what's he call that scope? What? Say it again. Arden. Yeah. I don't know who Arden is, but it means big, I think. It's a 24-inch mirror telescope that's full thickness. So I forget how much the mirror cell weighs, but it's hundreds of pounds. And there's talk of maybe making a pad. We've been discussing all these different ways we could get it up here. He's decided that he wants to give it to the club when he dies, but he wants to be able to use it up here somehow or another. So what we're sort of coming down on is building a pad over here in the corner to park a trailer on, or to park his trailer on. Bill Ingberg, and then he would deploy it on the pad he built years ago out to that big pad. And so if you had that for this particular club meeting, when you've got the spring sky, which is just galaxies and globular clusters, you don't have the H2 regions and the open clusters and so forth. That would be a big hit, I think, to have up here. So on going to the 15th and 16th of May. It's another public star party. We've got to decide where. I'm sort of leaning towards Lake Sylvia as the second time we do Lake Sylvia. I want to try to see if we can get at least twice. Let's see, June the 13th is a club meeting. We're transitioning into the summer Milky Way then. Need a program. The 20th, question mark about a star party. For some years, we have not had a star party in July. But I'm thinking this year we ought to skip June because the way it works on the calendar, we're right at the summer solstice, and the sun's never going to set, and it's going to be hot as a firecracker. And in this case, July moves about a month past solstice, so you get a little bit earlier. It's amazing how fast that happens. It's over half an hour sooner that sets in that period of time. So, and then the Misral conference is in June, which would be another reason not to have a star party in June. We just have a club meeting and then try to encourage people to go to the Misral conference. And then I put in here, maybe we do a carpool or even a passenger van if we get enough people interested. This year it's in Southeast Missouri, south of St. Louis. It's the Southeast Missouri Astronomy Club. Okay, I know where it is. It's a little county southwest of Missouri where they prevailed upon the county government to build an observing site, and it's an elaborate little area with all these concrete pads and walkways and so forth and so on. And they hold star parties there like every month, or maybe even more than that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think they do it like every weekend. I think that's right. But anyway, they have a lot of star parties there, and that's where they're going to have the Misral conference there. Okay, so July Summer Milky Way, a public star party maybe on the 18th. And then in August, Summer Milky Way, of course, still up. 8th, August the 8th would be the club meeting. The Perseid meteor shower is on the 14th and 15th. The best clear night, again, like I talked about earlier with Lakeview, where to have that. Now, this is a few days past, it's a day or two past peak, but the Perseids go for so long that you won't be missing much to get it on a Saturday. Friday or Saturday night is what this 14th, 15th is. And the peak is like on Wednesday or Thursday, going from memory. So where would you want to have that? And the ideas that I had there were Lakeview West or Lake Sylvia. I didn't put it here, or you could do it here. But I would like to do it at Lakeview West if we can. Talk them into it, and I think we will have no trouble doing that. Lakeview West is a residential area that overlooks the Maumelle Lake from the west end of the lake. And we prevailed upon the developer there to put responsible lighting practice requirements into the bill of assurance for that development. And he agreed to do that. And so we said, okay, we will have a star party there to commemorate that you did this. And the neighbors all turned out. And he called me later and told me he had a little bit of a problem because the neighbors wanted to make it more, they wanted to make it stricter. and he was worried about being able to sell the rest of his lots if he got any stricter. But I'm pretty sure they'd love to host that. And it's up on the mountain. It's up on a ridge line, and you've got 360-degree view, and it's a lot darker than here. It's not as dark as Lake Sylvia, but Lake Sylvia in a little bit of a hole. And so it would be the ideal place. And I've been wanting to have one there. Again, this is for the dark sky responsible lighting thing, because I think if we had an event we could invite the public to. That first time we did it was a private event, just for the residents. But if we could invite the public, we could market the idea that they have their responsible lighting community, and once again get that message out. So September is a club meeting on again. Still dark, and you still got the summer. All these you got Summer Milky Way, and they're dark. We're sort of lost. Haven't experienced that in so long. I have to keep reminding myself that we're not going to have a moon on every one of these club meeting nights. And then the International Observe the Moon night is the program is on the 18th and 19th. And again, I'm suggesting that we do the best clear night concept again, just in case, because you can't. I mean, if it clouds over, you just don't have the event. Uh, and so cheating a little bit and doing it on Friday night if we had to wouldn't seem to be a big sin. But one thing I wanted to mention here is this last time we did something new. We did it in 4 different places instead of doing it one place. In the past, we would go to Pinnacle and we would have International Observer of the Moon or some other place. We've occasionally done it in some other places. But we're Central Arkansas Astronomical Society, which is a pretty good size area. And I thought we ought to spread it out. And so we did it. Actually, we could say we did it 5 places because one of our members went and did it at Pettigene. But he was all by himself. So what do you all think about? You all did it in Conway. You all did it in Southwest Little Rock. Do we have anybody here that did it in Northeast Little Rock and Sherwood? We had an event in Sherwood.
Yeah, I did. Rocky. I did it in
There's
Sherwood.
Rockies on here. Yeah. So what do y'all think about doing that again next year? That kind of doing it that way?
How many people did you have total?
John said they had about 50 at UCA. Yeah. And we had about that at Twin Rivers, and you all had about
30.
And y'all had about 30, and Darcy had about 25. And the marketing was, I mean, we hardly marketed it at all. We sort of a last minute deal. The festival got in the way of getting that done. We thought of it too late, for one, and then the festival and having the date of the festival move, and so it sort of blunted our ability to market that. But and then the other thing is I was thinking, I mean, where we were in Twin Rivers, there were people coming and going, and they could see us with the telescopes, but we had no way to communicate to them that this was hate, except to stand there and say, "Come on," because we had no signs, we had no table set up or anything. I'm thinking we need some more table runners and some more tabletop covers, and then we make some signs of some sort, especially for this event. So anyway, September next month. Is October, and tentatively the Dark Sky Festival, or the Nature at Night Festival, as I think we're going to start calling it, will tentatively be on the 9th and 10th, with the rain date would be on the 17th, or the weekend of the 16th and 17th. The problem is that wait a minute, club meeting. The club meeting. Okay, I've got it turned around. The club meetings on the night that the festival would be. We would normally want to schedule the festival. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. 22, second and third. No. Okay. I was right to start first place, but I was looking in the wrong place. The festival would be the 2nd and the 3rd. The rain date would be the 9th and the 10th, which would fall on top of the club meeting. And I don't know what we want to do about that, but that's a problem. If we did it in September, it's so early in September that your sun's not going down and it's too hot and so forth. So I want to move it to October, but this presents this problem. So we'll have to talk about that at the board meeting. November, public star party, and then of course a club meeting. The star party gets in front of the club meeting this for the first time that year. And the star party dates, how you might say, how are you choosing the dates? The dates are all first quarter moon, or a Saturday close to the first quarter moon, which is pretty much traditionally what we've done about star parties. With the exceptions of the ones we're doing at Lake Sylvia and so forth. All right. So, and then the holiday party. So there's the schedule for next year. That's my presentation. Be thinking about it. I think, did I send this out? I need to send it out so people can be looking at it. I'll send that out if I can remember tomorrow. Any questions?
November 5th is a Wednesday, and we're having a sidewalk astronomy program at Maumelle Library. They have a tiny lake around them, Lake Valencia, and it's going to be the first of a series of supermoons. And so there's an opportunity for photography of the full moon over the water. And Karl and I are going to be doing that event, and everybody else is welcome to come to. And you November 5th. It's there's several supermoons in a row, and that's the biggest one of the year. So we're calling it Supermoon over Maumelle.
Thank you, Darcy. All right. And next we have Robert Togni, who's going to share and present on the constellation of the month. All right, Rocky, thank you. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, it's up there. Okay. So the constellation of the month is Aquarius. It's well placed right now, coming up in the east when the sun goes down. And of course, this is a card from Urania's Mirror, which was a set of cards published back in 1824. Notice down at the bottom, it's got a balloon, and the title says Balloon Aerostatic. And another name for it is the official name is Globus Aerostaticus for a hot air balloon. So that was a constellation created in 1798, but it's no longer. They didn't choose it as one of the constellations in about 1930 when they established our current constellations. And this is just another card of somebody's. It represents. I mean, it's got a boy instead of a guy with a beard, which to me is more like what a water boy should be. But I think the guy with the beard is more representative of what it has been. Something I wanted to point out here is notice the water jar is upside down, and that's the way it's depicted, with the water flowing out of the jar and down into the fish's mouth. Right below it is Pisces Austrinus, and so that's the way most of the old star charts have it symbolized on there. And Aquarius is the 11th sign of the zodiac, and it's from the 20th January to the February 19th. And this is just another card. It's a little bit more elaborate. I hadn't seen it before, but you can see it's got the water flowing out of an upside down jar down into the fish's mouth. In 1950, H.A. Ray came out with a book that's become popular, and not all of his constellation lines have become popular, but some of them have. I like this one on the water carrier, on Aquarius, and H.A. Ray and his wife wrote Curious George, so they're both in astronomy and in kids' books. But I think I've got everything I wanted to say on the next one. Okay, and this area of the sky, you can see it's got Aquarius, the water carrier. It's got Capricorn, the sea goat, string of fish, Pisces, Pisces austrinus, another fish, and then right out, you don't see it on this chart, but it's right out here is Cetus, the whale. So the ancients used to call this the sea part of the sky because of all the water creatures. tracing out his Aquarius is kind of fun. I usually start with these two stars in Capricorn. They're pretty bright. And then there's a third star up here. I used to think this was all part of one constellation, but it's not. This is actually the foot, Aquarius's foot, and just go right straight up his leg there to this little asterism right here. Little four stars, and three of them I think are third magnitude. One of them's kind of dim, fourth magnitude. But it's a nice little asterism, and nice binoculars is he symbolized the water jar out here, him carrying a water jar and spilling water. And these little water droplets are real nice through binoculars if you had never seen them. They're just a couple of nice little strings of water. But Aquarius is the 10th largest constellation, and it's one of Ptolemy's original 48 constellations. It's got three Messier objects, M2, M72, which are globular clusters, and M73, which is really just an asterism, a four-star asterism. They call it an open cluster. And then there's two Caldwell objects that are really more. M2 is pretty spectacular, pretty nice globular, but NGC 7009 and NGC 7293, Saturn Nebula and the Helix Nebula are really nice. The two brightest stars are Alpha, which is Sadal Melik, and star names are normally Arabic, and that means luck of the kings in Arabic. And Beta is Sadal Sud, and it means luck of lucks. So two lucky stars there, Alpha and Beta. And I was going to play the Age of Aquarius for y'all, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, and I figured y'all might not appreciate it. But you might, because it's really a good song. I listened to it. But anyway, the astrological age of Aquarius is not until 2579. So that's when the vernal equinox occurs in Aquarius for the first time. And the vernal equinox is when the sun crosses the celestial equator. And I went into Stellarium and just pulled up 2700 on March 21st. And you see the sun is crossing this is celestial equator. Here's Aquarius and here's Pisces. It's in Pisces right now. It goes backwards. It was in Aries when they formed it. And about every 2100 years, it moves into another constellation. So, so the age of Aquarius is only about 550 years away, which is not very long if you're talking about a 26,000 year cycle. And M2 is a very nice globular cluster. It's easy to find. I'll show you in a second. It's really nice in binoculars. 16 arc minutes, 35,000 light years away, and it's one of the larger globular clusters in size, physical size. It was discovered by Maraldi in 1746, but then Messier rediscovered it in 1760. Another globular is M72, and it's a lot smaller and dimmer, and it's farther away. It's 5.9 arc minutes. Then here's the little asterism. And you can see it in binoculars, but you can't resolve it. So you actually need a telescope to resolve it. But it's just another Messier object to put on your list. But M72 is a nice little globular. But real close to them is the Saturn Nebula. And this is a picture I took with the RRO RRT before it was converted over. and small bright planetary nebula, and you can see why they call it the Saturn Nebula. 3,000 to 5,500 light years away, so it's pretty far away. But the most spectacular object is the Helix Nebula, which is about half the size of the full moon, and it's not easy in a telescope. It's because it's kind of not got very bright surface brightness. But it's planetary. It's one of the closest planetary nebulas, probably the closest. It's 700 light years away. It's mag 7.6, and this is my shot with a C star, and here's Hubble's shot, and it kind of became known as the Eye of God, and some people like to call it the Eye of Sauron. And it was taken about 2000, I think, with the Hubble Space Telescope. And here's just a final thing to talk about Aquarius and show you where the nebulas are. And you start out at the foot, and you've got three of the M72, M73, and the Saturn Nebula kind of right under that foot, right there. And then the Helix Nebula is a little harder to find. You can come right straight down through here, or come off the water container, and that's all I've got for Constellation of the Month.
Thank you, Rocky.
Uh-huh.
Very much. All right. Well, that concludes our monthly meeting for CAAS. Were there any other items to discuss that anyone had this month? Bruce has t-shirts. Yep. And if you're still you volunteered but you didn't make it to the Dark Sky Festival, meet up with Bruce. He does have t-shirts. Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you again next month.